Hi, it's Alex. Welcome to my latest column. And I'm talking about jazz and blues improvisation. Um, Today, I'm excited to talk to you about outside licks. Outside licks are these strange licks that sound wrong, yet they work. And actually, I don't think they sound wrong. I think they sound right, but it just goes into this other territory that the listener is not expecting. So one of the first outside licks I remember hearing is, I mentioned Miles Davis in some earlier columns, and he has a classic called Freedom Jazz Dance, which was written by Eddie Harris. I'm just going to play one part of that lick, because the whole lick is complicated. I've been trying to keep these lessons relatively simple too, so those who want to can grasp them. But the final part of the lick we're going to look at, and this is over. I'm going to play this over a B flat 7 sharp 9 chord. All right, so I'm going to loop that just so you can hear what it sounds like in context. Okay, so here's the last part of the lick. Okay, so what is happening there? It's kind of nuts. But basically, this right here, you could relate these notes to pentatonic. Right, that's how I see it. But what's interesting is he does a pattern right now of fourths. Now, I talked about fourths in the 4th column, too. So you might want to check out that lesson. But basically, these patterns are very useful when you have 3 notes that are just in fourths. You can play them as a chord. You can play them as a melody. Now, what's happening here is he's playing that up a half step. And it comes out of nowhere. So you're expecting this. But he's taking those last 3 notes and playing them up a half step like this. Right? So then the last note, well, okay, that's technically a wrong note, right? But yes and no, because it's the flat 5th, which works as a blues note. Right? So it's not really a wrong note, and it creates this tension. Right, so right here, these notes are actually in the scale. Right, but it's a major note right here. Which technically isn't wrong because that can work in a blues. But when you put it together, it creates this tension. And here, he's back to the root, but it moves up again. So that's a descending 4th pattern. Now we can look at that on its own. Right? So what's happening? So we're starting with the root, we go up a half step, descend in 4th, and then ascend in the key. And just even those notes alone make a really cool lick that you can play around with. Okay, so all of that is very useful. Another lick that I heard much later by Michael Brecker, great tenor sax player, where he was doing a an Irish sounding or a Celtic sounding reel called "It's Been Real," right? And his main melody was. And at one point in the tune, he goes. Okay, so that's just part of the lick, but watch what's happening. Right, so once again, fourths is it's the secret, right? So in the key, and then up a half step, and down in fourths. Right, so he's combining these fourth patterns with chromaticism. And I know this gets really advanced, but let's just go back to our original type of vamp. 3, 4. Okay, now here's that second lick I did.